first of all, let me just say, wow, that was an amazing, first of all, opening remarks by Lawrence Friedel, our Director of Applied Sciences, but that video just gave me goosebumps. That is, and I can't wait to see all the other videos coming the next 2 days. So that was a perfect tee off to just encapsulate what an amazing 4 years it has been for the Health and Air Quality Applied Sciences team for HAQAST. You know, over my tenure as program manager for health and air quality applications at NASA headquarters, the literally explosion of the use of Earth observations for environmental health and air quality applications has been breathtaking. And that is in no small part to the amazing work and success of the HAQAST team. When we started HAQAST in 2016, and its predecessor, HAQAST, the Air Quality Applied Sciences team, 5 years before that in 2011, our motivation was clear. Our vision was clear. We wanted to have a group of investigators come together in an agile and flexible way to not only work on core projects to connect Earth observations, NASA data, NASA tools with end users and stakeholders across the nation and the world, but also allow them the flexibility to come together and form ad hoc Tiger teams where they would tackle user-informed problems that were coming from our stakeholder and end user community. Maybe those were some short-term needs of stakeholders and end users. Maybe it was response to crises such as Western wildfires or the eruption of Kilauea in Hawaii. By that video that you've just seen and what you're going to see in the successes in this showcase over the next 2 days, I think it was a job very well done. And truly, as was said many times in that video, the success of not only the 13 core PIs, but all the cast of hundreds behind them, be their co-ops, their grad students, their collaborators, their stakeholders and end users, again, domestically and internationally, all came together to make the whole of HAQAST much greater than the sum of its parts. So again, job well done. As I mentioned in the video, though, this is not the end. It is just the beginning. We have already received at NASA headquarters the proposals from the community for the new HAQAST version 2.0. Those will be undergoing, as Lawrence mentioned, our peer review process at NASA this summer. And we hope to have the new incarnation of HAQAST in place in the fall of 2020. So greater things to come, building on the legacy of this amazing team. And just to close, I would just like to again extend my undying gratitude and thanks to Tracey Holloway for her incomparable leadership of this team. Tracey, you had such wonderful people behind you, but your leadership was key to making this team the success that it has been and a world leader in Earth observations for applied sciences. And also, again, thanks so much to Dagan Miller and to Paige Basin. Your achievements in communicating these successes over the last 4 years, you know, if we don't communicate the success, nobody knows about it. And we don't bring in new people and we don't bring in new stakeholders. So communicating those successes are key. And you helped us in so many ways to get the word out and to conduct such wonderful events, webinars, and this showcase today. So thank you again. Thanks to all the 13 members of HAQAST and to all of their collaborators, co-Is, stakeholders, end users. Again, I'm really excited for the next 2 days. I can't wait to see the rest of this showcase. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I'll take it from here, and thanks to Paige and Dagan for all the behind the scenes and in front of the scenes work to make this meeting possible. So it's really a pleasure to be launching this showcase 2-day event. Of course, we really wished we could all be in person in Washington, D.C. at NASA headquarters, but I think you'll find that this online forum does an acceptable job of capturing the work of this amazing team. And as Lawrence and John mentioned, you know, when we talk about HAQAST, this is really representing the work of a true team. We formed in 2011, and the 13 members of the team were selected through peer review grant submissions. And each of these grants is working with co-investigators, collaborators, students, et cetera. So we have about 70 people or more who are really considered HAQAST investigators. And the PI of each grant are the members, who are the folks you'll be hearing from today. And you can find out more about who's been in HAQAST at the links below. When we talk about HAQAST, we're referring to this NASA-funded applied sciences team. It was originally designed to be a 3-year team going from 2016 to 2019. But due to the success of the team, the momentum we had, the rave reviews from stakeholders, it was just thrilling when NASA announced that there would be an extra year of funding applied to all 13 grant proposals. And we were able to extend through this summer, 2020. And as has been said before, the mission of this team was really to connect NASA science with air quality and health applications. So we were pretty agnostic in terms of who we connected with. We just wanted to broaden the tent of who considered NASA data and other Earth observations part of their work in different ways for different organizations. And we advanced this through 3 main types of activities. Through the member projects that the 13 PIs proposed in their original applications that selected them for the team. And these were all collaborative and engaged projects, but just ones that they had in their head often before they started, which might adapt over the past 4 years. Then we had tiger teams, which came together through HAQAST, where different PIs and their collaborators would work together on problems that were suggested by our stakeholder partners. And all of the tiger team projects were reviewed by stakeholders and selected by myself and John and others at the NASA Applied Sciences program, entirely based on stakeholder reviews. And then the final part of the project is the outreach and engagement and our responsiveness to short-term needs, which really could not have been done without Dagan, Paige, and other digital media specialists that we've worked with. So that's our team at the University of Wisconsin. You've been hearing about us a lot. And I just direct you to our website, HAQAST.org, which has tons of information on our team, including publications, presentations from every single one of our meetings, and of course, a lot of the material for today's meeting. This also has resources that we've developed over the past few years in collaboration with the NASA Applied Remote Sensing and Training Program. And it offers a sort of a front door for new users. So if you're inspired to start working with satellite data or other Earth observations from today's and tomorrow's talks, you can go to our website and there's a lot of getting started material. We've had a lot of different ways to engage stakeholders over the past 4 years. We have a newsletter, we have Twitter, we have these active collaborations, but a big cornerstone of our engagement approach has been through our meetings. These have been held approximately every 6 months. They've moved around the country, starting in Atlanta, Seattle, New York, Madison, Phoenix, Pasadena, and then earlier this year in 2020, even before COVID pushed everything online, we were already experimenting with online webinars through what we called HAQAST 2020. And it's been exciting to see that over this time, in-person attendance has risen, online participation has risen, and by the time we got to our webinars earlier this year, the series of webinars averaged 140 attendees per webinar, and we carefully survey participants after all of our meetings, and the webinars had an over 80% excellent rating, or almost 80% excellent rating. The format of the meeting has been based on the feedback we've gotten at each one, so I really think they've gotten not just bigger and bigger, but truly better and better. We have been trying to share the work we've done, and it was exciting to see HAQAST cited in a 2019 article on making open science work for science and society as a successful example of connecting experts and decision makers in the journal Environmental Health Perspectives. And so here we are at our final showcase, and this is truly a multimedia event. So yes, we have the panels that you're listening to now, but each of our PIs has put together a video that you can link from our page. There are many posters contributed to showcase different aspects of our research. And then of course, there's the panel schedule itself. So we hope that you'll take time in tomorrow morning or this evening or when you're not listening to our panels to explore the other material here, because this is really a comprehensive effort to provide you with the information you'd like to know about our team. And what we've done is trying to organize today's meeting around major successes that cross-cut across multiple of our PIs and investigators. Of course, we cannot summarize 70 people, 4 years of work, and 2 half days of meetings. But we hope that this kind of highlights some of the synthesis findings that come out of our team, from looking at Haynes as our next panel after this, to global health tomorrow, and many other aspects. So I just encourage you to stay for the day, stay for tomorrow, and when you can't attend, we have posted everything online. So with that, I'll step back and let Bryan give his remarks, and then we'll have Q&A in a little bit. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Bryan Duncan. I work at NASA. I'm a NASA scientist, but I'm not directly involved in the leadership of NASA Applied Sciences. I honestly see myself more as a soldier in the trenches working with the stakeholders directly. So my perspective is probably different than the perspective of Lawrence and John, for instance. So in my remarks, I'll highlight a few lessons that I learned from being involved in HAQAST and now HAQAST, especially from the perspective of learning to engage stakeholders effectively. So I have 3 different lessons that I'll list here, and I'm sure there are many more out there, and the different HAQAST PIs will have their own. But the first is what I call pound the pavement. I remember at the very first HAQAST meeting a decade ago that I was nervous because I had no clue how to engage stakeholders. In fact, I really didn't know any stakeholders. But there were a few HAQAST members at the time who did have experience working with stakeholders, so I pestered them for more information. And essentially, I was told that, okay, be patient. It takes years to build relationships with stakeholders. It's not going to be done in one telecon. And you have to work hard. And part of that working hard was attending stakeholder meetings and just taking the time to reach out and getting to know them. The second lesson is what I call think like an applied scientist. Okay, so like most scientists out there, we're all trained as research scientists with the warning of publish or perish that's always ringing in our ears. And because of that, I misguidedly in HAQAST focused on publishing more than I did with listening to the stakeholders. It took me longer than I care to admit to sort of retrain myself to think like an applied scientist, and that involved listening to the stakeholders and working with them to develop ways for them to effectively use satellite data in their standard operating procedures. The third lesson I learned is this idea of a research scientist versus an applied scientist. And I don't think they're mutually exclusive. In fact, I believe that now that I'm a stronger research scientist because I learned to think more like an applied scientist as well. And I definitely look at the big picture about my research. Is it important from a science perspective and from an applied scientist perspective? And I've also learned to work in a more interdisciplinary way. Just to give an example, so we're all living in the COVID era, and NASA has several efforts going on to use satellite data for various to benefit society, and also from a science perspective. And so I'm working with a team who's looking at satellite data of air pollution, particularly nitrogen dioxide, to understand the impact of the pandemic on air pollution around the world. And it goes beyond the impact of the pandemic on air pollution levels. It involves looking at issues of human health and also using NO2 data as a proxy for assessing impacts on economic activities. And most the world economy, country economies are driven by fossil fuels. And also for climate by inferring changes in co-emitted CO2, which is very difficult to measure from space. So these are just 3 of the lessons that I learned on how to better engage stakeholders. And I'm sure that the other HAQAST PIs have their own lessons learned to share. Thank you.